Welcome back to the Autry Benton Show. Today we've got a local legend in the studio. My friend, Banana Jack Murphy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Man, you said legend just like I instructed you to.
No.
Wow.
I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous today, Jack.
Why's that?
Because you are a master interviewer, and I get to interview.
That's kind.
It really is. And I mean, and I just don't use that term loosely, but you are a legend. You people know you around this area from TV, from
a
radio.
lot of people money, man. That's probably what it is. And they want to make sure they keep getting that monthly payment.
But I really want to dig into a side that most people don't get to see a lot.
Okay.
I want to see who Jack Murphy really is.
Okay, good luck.
For sure. I'm going to start here. I was trying to think the first time I was exposed to you or heard about you, but it was in high school, as a matter of fact. WKZQ,
Wow.
you're famous, and Banana Jack Murphy in the mornings. And I remember, and I've told the story on here, I can't sing a lick, but I was in a choir class, and on the wall there was a flag, big flag of WKZQ, and you were just the stuff, man. I mean, everybody loved listening to Banana Jack in the morning.
Wow. I used to be the stuff. Today, not so much.
No, Lord, I didn't mean it like that.
No, that's fine.
You were it, man.
I was it.
And still are it, but just my exposure to,
I get what you're saying, man. Radio was a different time.
Yeah.
And how it was presented, how we did it. My days at KZQ rank up there as the most favorite thing I ever did, or probably will ever do. I have fun today as much as I did.
Yeah.
Still have that excitement on a Monday. But those KZQ years were really magical.
They were. And we're going to get there. But I want to go back in time a little bit. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in a little town south of Raleigh. It's known for mule days. Benson, North Carolina. Yep. Jimmy Capps is from Benson, North Carolina. He was the musical director at the Grand Ole Opry. There was a few other folks, but those were moonshiners, and we try not to talk about them. But it was a small town. It was kind of Mayberry-esque. Everybody knew your business, which was good. If you did anything out of sorts, there was somebody who would straighten you up, and then they'd tell your daddy and mama, and you'd get straightened up again. So it was a great little town. Baseball was all I wanted to do until Christmas of maybe 1970, and I got an AM transistor radio for Christmas. Santa Claus made sure I had that. It was shaped like Donald Duck, and that changed my life. I still love playing baseball, but radio was the fallback. I just fell in love with listening to radio.
How old were you when you got that?
I was probably 6.
6?
Yeah, 6 years old. And pretty much knew at that time that I was going to be on radio.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What was it, Jack? What was it?
It was magic. My dad was a jack of all trades, multiple businesses. You can relate to that. We've been blessed to have hardworking fathers, entrepreneurial, and that's a different dynamic. And we had a grocery store.
Your family had a grocery store?
Yeah, at that particular time in life. And we had a radio station come out. They did an Easter egg promotion, hiding eggs and win some prizes and whatnot. And the guy came out in a red, white, and blue van. It was a Dodge van, the All-American WPYB. I actually worked for that guy later on when I got older, and had a big, goofy, looked like something you'd buy at Radio Shack in probably the late 60s or 70s, up on top, a little megaphone style monitor system, PA system. And he started talking, and his voice just boomed across the parking lot, and I was running inside to the little radio by my dad's cash register, and I could hear the voice there, and I'd run out and hear his voice again, and I thought that was cool. And then I was riding somewhere with my mother, and she goes, "Oh, this is the guy that was at the store the other day on the radio," and I heard his voice, and I just thought that was magical that voices were coming through the radio, and so I was hooked on it then. I'm going to be on the radio one day at 6 years old, and I've done it 43 years now.
That's special. So tell me a little bit more about your mom and dad.
My mom and dad were basically high school sweethearts. They got my dad actually left school early just said, which was the oddest thing in the world. I didn't know that until later. Never graduated high school, but he was a math genius. My mom, she was just your basic Southern Belle type, great mother that was always there to support my dad in his businesses. She worked alongside him with a lot of things. We had a furniture store, 2 or 3 gas stations, 2 furniture stores, a clothing store. We had a lingerie store. When I was 12 years old, I used to stock bras and panties in my mom's store.
Yeah, you don't hold them a little too long.
You asked me what, but Benson was a great little place. I got to play baseball, man, all the time. Yeah, and it was just a unique place.
How about siblings?
I have a brother and a sister. My brother is maybe 4.5 years younger than me. He's still on that journey of trying to figure out what he wants to do with the rest of his life. My sister has been married and has a couple of kids, and her daughter is in the Marines.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for her service.
Yeah, military intelligence up there in D.C.
Oh, boy. Yeah, she give you any inside information at times?
No.
No?
And if she did, I would still say no.
No. Ooh. That's good. That's good. Wow. So, man, I think it's so special that you knew what you wanted to do then, man. It really had to touch a
pretty much a unicorn.
Yeah.
That's what my son's guidance counselor said, because my wife, Barb, pretty much knew that she was going to be in photography and creative design and graphic arts at a young age, but she's gone off. I mean, boy, she's the superstar in the family, my wife.
Yeah. Jack, let me ask you this. You said the radio was magical to you. You knew you wanted to do that. I mean, you're such a talent. Was it always there? Did you enjoy people, the wittiness, the quickness? Was it always there? I mean,
I realized at an early age I could make people laugh.
Okay.
And that kept me from being shoved into lockers. We had bullying. I think bullying has always been around.
I think so too.
And but I mean, it wasn't over the top, but it was still bullying.
Yeah.
And so I used humor to keep myself from getting bullied a little bit. And so yeah.
So you humor was a part of your life.
Oh, definitely, early. It still is. I even do humor in political talk, which I'm doing now. If you can't laugh.
Oh, I think there's a lot of humor in politics.
Oh, well, if you can't laugh at politics, then that's the funniest subject on earth.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great. So, high school, schools right there in Benson?
Yeah, sure. We had a unique situation. We had 4 small towns, and they all, after what was called junior high, 7th and 8th grade, we all went to one big high school, 4 communities. And so all the kids that we played baseball against in Babe Ruth League, actually were on the high school baseball team. We had a pretty good high school baseball team.
Did you play high school baseball?
No.
You gave it up, yeah.
I mean, I made the team my senior year. I will tell you what I did do, Autry, though, is we kind of had a way around getting around practice times. You can't practice before a certain date. I took a PE class called PE 3C, and we only got a half a credit for it. But my junior and senior year, 6th period, I was playing baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, we were in front of a pitching machine. We were running routines. We were playing, staged games. So baseball was that was the first thing I ever did in this business, was play-by-play.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I discovered that girls like hearing tunes on the radio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot more than. Well, there's 2 men on, bottom of the 7th. Yeah, so.
Well, and you just popped in a question I had. Where was music at? Did you have a love for music early on?
Yeah, it was around. I had musicians in the family. My grandfather's brother played guitar. He had another brother that was actually in radio, and I admired these guys. Everybody on my dad's side of the family owned their own business. They were all at least one business. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And one of my great uncles was actually a broadcaster. He was one of the early investors in this station that I worked at. Maybe my second job in radio, but he was a pastor.
Oh, wow.
And would buy time on Saturday morning and resell it. So he would go and produced his own show and would promote bluegrass and gospel music concerts in that particular geographic area in North Carolina.
Wow. So what was bluegrass? Bluegrass and gospel was your early?
Yeah, bluegrass, gospel, country music. I worked that.
Yeah.
Still love bluegrass to this day.
Is that your love? Is that your first love, or what's your first love of music?
Ooh, I would have to say it would be tough because rock and roll was very good to me.
Yeah.
But rock and roll had a stigma of having a not so nice lifestyle.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. So graduating high school, tell me your next steps.
I was a little apprehensive because I had always talked about going into broadcasting, and I was a little apprehensive. I had this great teacher in high school. His name was C.K. Parrish. Had so much influence on me. I had him in 4th grade. I had him in 7th grade, 8th grade. He moved to the high school. I had him in 10th grade, and I had him in 12th grade.
I think the Lord wanted him in your life.
And he taught us things that weren't exactly in the school books about life and conservatism, and
we could use some more of that.
Yeah, we could. It was just basic common sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was like going, "You still going to radio?" He's like going, "No, you've talked about that your whole life. Do it." And so yeah, but I went to Central Carolina Community College in Sanford, North Carolina, probably about 45 miles from where I grew up.
Yeah, did you get a degree from there?
Yeah, got out of there in 2 years. But I was already working in the business pretty much. I graduated high school at 17.
Okay.
I didn't go to kindergarten. I don't even think we had kindergarten back in those days. I certainly couldn't spell kindergarten back in those days.
Did you work there in high school?
Did I work there in high school?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, in your family's businesses?
I worked with my dad. My dad did not want to pay me. He didn't think he needed to give me a salary.
Oh my goodness!
Now he gave me money.
Yeah.
But this is what gave me my entrepreneurial spark. I'm glad you touched on this because when I look back at my life, this was a factor that changed my way of thinking. I was 12 years old, and I wanted a pair of Chuck Taylor Converse All-Stars. Had to have them.
Yeah.
Well, I had another uncle who owned a shoe store. You're beginning to see how this thing goes. And he had them right on display in the window, man. This was a beautiful pair of sneakers, had the stripe and the star. Told my dad, I said, "Dad, I gotta have some new sneakers for school." He goes, "Okay, your mom will take you to Pick and Pay," kind of a generic store. And I was like, "Oh, no, I want Chuck Taylor All-Stars. Uncle Robert has them in his store." He goes, "Well, how much are they?" And I said, "Well, they'll probably be $22 with tax." And my dad hit the roof. He goes, "It'll be a cold day in Ketchup Town before I pay $20 for a shoe." Well, he would take me everywhere with him, which was great. Parents taking their kids to work is a great thing. You probably had similar experience growing up in a family business. You learn things. It's important that kids know how mom and daddy put food on the table. I think it's incredible. And I did. And so I'm at my another cousin's little general store. Man, it's like we own the town. And we're getting caught up with all the farmers' discussions of the day. And that's where I got a lot of characters and a lot of material because they were based on real people that I grew up with. But we had a farmer. His name was A.J. Jones, and he had leased some land and was getting into farming, and he needed someone to drive his tractor. So I'm 12, and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, Lord, I got to get those sneakers, and this guy's needing a tractor driver. Well, I had moved things. I didn't really drive on the road, but I'd move cars because in addition to all this other stuff, my dad had used car lots and a body shop. This is all going at the same time. So yeah, I worked. I worked a lot. So I asked him about this job, and he said, "There's no way I can have a 12-year-old boy driving my tractor." And he goes, "Besides, your dad would kill me." He goes, "You work with your dad." I was like, "Well, yeah, but he doesn't pay me the way I think I need to be paid." To make a short story long, my dad got wind of it. And my dad says, "Well, if you want to give him a try, give him a try." The next day at 5 in the morning, my dad's kicking the end of the bed. It's like, "Get up, they're coming to get you." And I was driving a tractor that day.
That's good.
And I'm in a tobacco field. And tobacco fields were all around. Now, my family didn't grow tobacco, but I worked in it till I was 16. Well, actually 17, worked in tobacco. But driving that tractor, I got that first paycheck. And man, I was out there all day in the heat.
Yeah.
And I think I got something like $43 for the whole week of work, and I went and bought those shoes.
Yep.
And I think my dad probably thought, well, he's got enough to get the shoes. But I stayed there and drove, and then I just cropped tobacco. But when I got my driver's license, I got paid to be a driver.
Yeah.
With all the small used car guys. And there was radio in those cars, and it just kept fueling that desire to be a disc jockey.
But I think it taught you early on the beauty of work and yours, you know.
And solving a problem on my own.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I want to ask you real quick, too. Time is quickly going. We got to travel fast. Mule Day. What was your first thought of Mule Day being for Benson? Or just always a part of life?
It was just a part of life.
Okay.
Because I came along at a period where there were still some farmers that had mules. That was just for their own private garden. So I do remember that. Benson was known where people just came in and they got their mules. Okay. I never stood at the end of a field and held up a post so they could, I never did any of that. But mules were around. It was just a celebration. Town needed some kind of festival, and they were just known for livestock.
I got you. When did you meet your wife?
1995.
Okay, good deal.
You remember Jennings Chestnut?
I do.
Yeah, Chestnut Mandolins in Conway. She was working at the Arts Council, Horticultural Arts Council, and she was helping on the PR side of what they called folk music. But I said, no, that's bluegrass. So here comes that bluegrass fiber again. And she was a guest on my show. I didn't want her on.
Have you told her that?
Well, I didn't tell her that. My sidekick, the coach Morgan Patrick, who was doing sport, he was a great sports broadcaster up in North Carolina. He booked her and says, I've got the Arts Council coming on, and this is KZQ, this is rock and roll radio, man. I didn't want to hear a bunch of artists coming in here talking about how they don't have funds and money. I said, that's not what it's about. So she came in, and I still remember what she was wearing that day. For some strange reason, I don't always wear suits, but I don't have a problem wearing one like today. Yeah. And typically it is jeans and a collared shirt. So much for the rock and roll. No more Guns N' Roses t-shirts. Yeah. But she came in that day and she's like going, that's Banana Jack? I thought he would have been much bigger.
She said that?
Yeah, she did. But there was another guy who was on the show, and he had a fancy for her as well. And he sent her flowers and asked her out. And when she left, I told her, I said, look, hands off her, guys. I'm going to call. And he kind of went behind my back. He was we called him the snake after that. Yeah. And he got her flowers. Well, I ordered a plant. Yeah. And the reason I got a plant, Autry, and this is the great advice for anybody dating a girl, you buy a woman a plant and you send it there, and then that gives you an opportunity to check in a couple of weeks later to see how the plant's doing.
Love advice from Banana Jack.
Look at there. Hey, Dr. Love can give it to you all day.
Yes.
And that proved to be a good little deal.
That's good.
I married her despite her not having a green thumb at all.
That's good. How many years you been married?
Let's see, 97, be 29 this September.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good deal. So what brought you to Myrtle Beach, or to Horry County?
It was radio.
Radio.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I had worked at some big stations, some small stations. I was down in Atlanta for a while working in the entertainment industry, living in Savannah, went back to Raleigh. And you kind of led off the interview talking about, you used to be the thing. I had worked in Raleigh, incredible ratings, big company. The Tar Heel Sports Network was part of our company. Woody Durham did sports for us. It was a great company. And I wasn't working there anymore. And a guy came up, and I went back to the Western Auto that I worked at as a kid because I put bicycles and stuff together to make extra cash. I did whatever I could. I was a workaholic. And I guess I still am to a degree. And the next thing I know, kaboom, this guy comes in and it's like going, hey, you look familiar. And he goes, aren't you blah, blah, blah? And I was like going, yeah. He goes, whatever happened to you? Because I guess he thought maybe that me not being on the radio was the end, but it was a check for me. I was like,
Yeah.
whatever happened to me, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no work that's undignified.
Yeah.
So.
Good deal. And so, what was the first station you worked in Horry County?
In Horry County,
Yeah.
it was KZQ.
KZQ.
I was brought up to do mornings.
Yeah.
Banana and OJ, they had gone from 3,000 watts to 50,000 watts, format change. And we're trying to capture some of that old Rock 102 that they had lost. And I stayed at KZQ from 89 to 2001, some media buyouts and mergers.
And KZQ, before you came and you made it bigger, but already had great success?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking Freakin' Deacon, Mixon Dixon,
okay.
Marvelous Marv.
All right, then you come along, standing on that tall legacy. What was your thoughts in like?
I thought I had won the lottery.
Yeah.
I literally did.
Yeah. And you step back, you played music, you did all that, but you created art, man, and you talked about it already, but characters from your childhood, the humor part. Talk to me about that, how you built that.
Well, if you live in a small town, there's always some eccentric character who will tell stories. I think we all have them, and that was Harold Dean for me. And there was a lot of Harold Dean in those stories that actually happened to me. Harold Dean was a fast-talking redneck from Loris, which Loris became a big part of my story from 07 to 24. I was fortunate to own WLSC over in Loris. So I had Harold Dean, and he had to have a wife, and her name was Cloris, which rhymed with Loris. And then they had Harold Jr. and a little girl named Cecilia Ann. And it was just a way for me to tell stories without them being me all the time.
Yeah.
And then Leon Fraser, the world's worst Elvis impersonator. When I came here, every radio station had a meteorologist that did the weather. And we didn't have one because we really only had 2 stations that were here at the time. And so I noticed when I was flipping through the Sun News at the time that there were a lot of Elvis tribute artists here, a lot of Elvis impersonators. So I just went back to an old Leon Fraser was his name, the world's worst Elvis impersonator. I couldn't do Elvis that well, so he just became the world's worst Elvis impersonator and gave the forecast.
Wow.
It's Elvis weather, man. That's it.
That's it. Wow. And then playing good music, and you kind of touched on it, rock and roll, a little maybe edgy for sometimes the Bible Belt a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, man, Jesus
and talk about your faith in this too.
Yeah, because it ties in there. You might remember a time when you would have a revival and somebody would come in to talk to the youth group and they wanted to burn your records. I mean, we had people come to our church and burn the records. Yeah. And I had people thinking I was going to be a preacher. When we would have Youth Sunday come up, I mean, I just embraced it. But Jesus was always good. I just knew where that line was. It got blurred a little bit. I moved the line myself. That didn't work out so well. But someone said one time, he goes, man, we're running a radio station. We're not running a church. And I was like going, yeah. So I found my little niche in there, that I needed to be there for Jesus in that rock and roll world anyway. I mean, dude, the stories I could tell you about people I've met and things that could have happened and stuff, it was a whole God thing leading me through everything.
But Jack, I think our audience knows, but Jack Murphy is a Christian.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was baptized in a pond I fished in, man. Yeah. And my mama got worked up because I wore my good shoes out in the water. Didn't take them off.
I got you. Good deal. But KZQ, like I say, super popular, whatever.
That station was recognized as one of the top stations in America. Yeah. And that can never be duplicated. Yeah. I was there at a special time.
Tell me what it was like, because you know the radio world, you're off doing, off-site stuff as well, all kind of things. What was it like for you? I mean, people, you're so recognizable in our area, but like your fame, what it was like to be out there. That's Banana Jack Murphy. Talk to us about that, buddy.
Man, it was weird. I mean, I had guys that would come down from to play golf that were in my youth group at church, and they'd come down, and I'm like, I got you hooked up, and I'm taking them out golfing, and they're like, how much did you pay for this? I was like, no, this is gratis. I did a favor for a guy, and it was it was over the top.
Yeah.
And there was, and I was a little naive too, because I was just a little farm boy that just wanted to talk on the radio, and there was a lot more into it. And I learned the power of words, and the power of ideas, and if you can build somebody up, and this has really served me well, especially in political talk, is that there's a lot of things, especially now. If you've got a little Jesus, you can just pretend you're Jesus before you say something. That's just the best policy.
Yeah,
that's just it.
Let me ask you about this. You do shows all the time. It's part of who you are. How does the magic happen? I know you try to build a show. How does it come out of you, man? How do you build it? Like for KZQ and right in the middle of it.
You just listen. And be ready to change. Don't be and you're free forming here, and I absolutely love it. I feel comfortable here. We're not talking so much about me, but how I got to be here, and I like that. I love how this is going. You free form it. I will go in today when I leave here, and we'll be on the radio for 3 hours. That show is pretty much set up to go. I've already pulled audio clips, things I want to talk about. And I might just leave at 6 o'clock this evening and only have used half of it. I'm caught up in the moment. Yeah. And that's been the secret of doing interviews, and you're great at it, is because you just listen. Yeah. Interviewing is being, everybody can do it. Everybody has conversations.
Right.
It's just when we get into these situations with lights and cameras that we somehow think it's about us, and we forget that it's about who's talking, and I'm the guy talking today. So it's a little different for me.
And I knew this was going to happen. Our time was going to go so quick, so you got to come back. But okay, so left KZQ. Kind of walk me through your timeline.
Media merger. Next media came to town. Wave 104. We were all in the same building. We're enemies forever. Howard Stern was here. When Howard Stern came to town, I said, "This is the greatest thing that could happen to me." People didn't understand it. He did beat me in the ratings, but I knew that the conservative business people here would not put their money in that, and so it kind of diffused the edginess that I had, and so business-wise, it was great.
Okay.
And then I was there until 07, and just because of bad financial decisions by the company, and I say that now because that company's no longer here. I saw the writing on the wall. They just couldn't afford me anymore.
Right.
They thought they couldn't afford me anymore. So about 3 months went by. I pinched my sciatic nerve. I couldn't walk. And bless my heart, this is why my wife is so strong. Man, dude, it's like Firestone on ESPN. Don't make me cry. I couldn't walk, dude.
Yeah.
I was on my back.
Yeah.
And I met a guy at a grocery store, and I became the owner of WLSC.
Right.
Took an equity line out on our house, and
yeah. Going back to your wife there for just a minute.
She's a rock, man.
Yeah,
She's the hero.
She was just with you during that time, whatever it took.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd always said in this business, there are two people, those that have been fired and those that are going to be fired.
Okay, so left KZQ. Kind of walk me through your timeline.
So about 3 months went by. I pinched my sciatic nerve. I couldn't walk. And bless my heart, this is why my wife is so strong. Man, dude, it's like Firestone on ESPN. Don't make me cry. Yeah. I couldn't walk, dude.
Yeah.
I was on my back.
Yeah.
And I met a guy at a grocery store, and I became the owner of WLSC.
Right.
Took an equity line out on our house, and
yeah. Going back to your wife there for just a minute.
She's a rock, man.
Yeah.
She's the hero.
She was just with you during that time, whatever it took.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd always said in this business, there are two people, those that have been fired and those that are going to be fired. And that reality was a little tough. I mean, she came home, and I literally could not walk. I had crawled up on the bed, and I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? Things fell into place, and we bought that station at the very top of the real estate in 07. And then you know what happened, it fell. Now we got in, but we were never underwater with anything. And it was a little bit tough. I lost 36%. We broke it down with numbers. Over a third of my advertisers didn't just stop advertising, they were gone.
Yeah.
And so from 2009 to 2011, dude, I'm buying soft drinks and gas on credit cards.
Yeah.
But I had a vision, and God was right there the whole time.
Good. That's great.
So,
tell me about TV. You've been on TV a long time, Jack.
Lord have mercy, man. My first TV gig, I set up a cable news operation in North Carolina in 1987. Dabbled around with it. Bill Hennessy, who was into racing, got me back into TV a little bit more, so I worked on the NASCAR Dash Series for a while. In 1994, Ralph McLeod, a movie maker and a great videographer here in the area, said, man, you're funny. I listened to your radio show, and we had met through his wife, and we started a company and started producing a weekly comedy show. And that was 94, 95. And then I would always fill in and MC stuff. And then 97, Donald Smith came to me and said, hey, I've got an idea. I'd like you to maybe possibly come in here and guest interview. Steve Rayburn, real estate guy, was the first host of River Talk. And I came one week, and they asked me to come back the next week, and so I've been there every week since 1997. In fact, we used to be on Fox.
Oh, wow.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Wow. Have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, absolutely. That kept my streak alive because while all of this was going on, I have been on the air, either radio or TV, in Myrtle Beach since April 24th, 1989, nonstop, and I hope that streak continues.
Did you... you were you were guest host, the host. When did the freaking Deacon join you on River Talk?
Probably 6 years ago, I'm thinking.
Yeah. What's the magic of the freaking Deacon?
BS.
BS? Hey, I love it. It is what it is.
No, he is quite an he's an interesting guy. I know you had mentioned getting him on. He has a dynamic story.
Yeah, and y'all play off each other.
We never worked together.
Yeah.
Until Q Rock. There's so many things, man. You're right. I could be here all week and not uncover all that I've been blessed to do. Deacon and I worked together for the first time. People always assumed that we did. When we recreated the old KZQ and we're at Broadway at the Beach in 2009 with Q Rock, which I still on, and it's still on the air, internet only.
Yeah.
But Deacon and I are working together couple of times a week. He's also on the air with me at TKN and LSQ. So we do the #1 talk show.
Okay.
And that airs Saturdays at 10 and 6.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy the most about River Talk and interviewing people? I mean, like, tell me your thoughts there. I mean, you interview a lot of people. Is there any favorites that stick out to you?
Oh, man. Yeah, technology, we used to shoot everything on tape, and that took a lot of space, and I wish we had everything archived. Carol Burnett did this thing when she was hosting her. Are you familiar with Carol Burnett? Carol Burnett show. I know I'm a lot older than you. And she would have people sign her guest book. I wish I had done that. I have interviewed so many people, but they stand out through the year. Metalark Lemon was a great interview. Boy, I mean, who haven't I interviewed that's rolled through here? It's in the thousands.
Yeah. When you're interviewing somebody, Jack, what do you look for? Does it just unfold in front of you and just what comes to you? I mean, like, what do you try to get out of people when you're interviewing them? Their story.
Yeah, everybody's got one. It's just opening up and really listening.
Yeah.
I know that interviews are good when people are like going, that's it? Because a lot of times people come in, because this isn't in their wheelhouse. They don't do this all the time. And I've always learned that overcoming fear is a pretty easy thing, man.
Yeah.
We've been instructed with that.
Stepping back to your personal life, Got kids?
Yeah, I have one son.
Tell me about him.
I wanted to have a whole house full. When we got married, Barb said, how many kids do you want? And I said, I'd like to have at least 5. And then she just, the look on her face. And I was like, going, what? Does that scare you?
Yeah.
She goes, well, childbirth is a little scary. Saying you want 5. I was like, going, no. They could all learn a musical instrument. We could travel around. I could work up a deal. We can barter out a vehicle. We just travel around and sing.
Yeah.
So we just had the one son.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about him.
He is he's in the business, man. He does videography and is a filmmaker. Just got recognized by South Carolina ETV as an aspiring filmmaker. Just worked on his first movie with the director of photography from the Star Wars trilogy.
Wow.
Which was the first gig, and he actually got to work at home, and his best friend came up from Charleston. So he's a little dynamo. I had him reading ad copy or newspapers out loud and recording them at 3 years old. I could see a creative spark. He got an iPad earlier than I wanted him to have one. His mom says, yeah, I think he's old enough. And he started arranging little figures and taking pictures and making movies with them. And I was like, okay, let's do something different. And so I put William Tell Overture. I said, now gallop the horse with that. He's like, oh. And I don't know if I sparked the movie. Barb is ultra creative and is a photographer. He's got her eye. It's interesting when you look back and see your kids. You see a little piece of you and a little piece, but then you see a little piece of your mother or your dad in them. I mean, you got a house full. Who am I to talk to? But a great kid. He just graduated.
He's got to be a talented young man.
He is. And the greatest thing, he's never given us any trouble.
That's great.
Went to Charleston, got plugged into a church.
That's great.
Dude.
That's great. That's
gosh,
great.
you know.
Yeah. What's some marriage advice?
Marriage advice? Listen.
You want to expound upon that a little bit?
No, I could go with some avenues here, but then I might get in trouble. No, just listening.
Okay.
And supporting. It's tough for guys. We don't communicate. We could all do a little bit better. But sometimes guys are silent for a reason, ladies. It's not that they don't think you can handle it.
Yeah.
They just we soak it all in.
I got you. What's your favorite song of all times, or one at the top? You played a lot of music, buddy. You played a lot of music.
Well,
and you can give me different genres if you want to. I'll give you a little out there.
The first song I played at KZQ I chose for a reason, and that was Joe Walsh, "Life's Been Good." So that was my first one there.
I got you.
Boy, the different genres, country music. Hello, Darling.
Okay, I got you.
I don't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I did up until September 27th, 1997.
I got you. How about gospel? What's your favorite gospel song?
Oh, my goodness.
What's a hymn? Is there something that sticks out?
Oh, there's some great hymns. Amazing Grace is so, man, when I hear it now, I want to cry when I even think about it. There was an old song, though, Turn Your Radio On.
Yeah.
Listen to the music.
That's good.
In touch with God, turn your radio on, and that's what I did.
Okay, I'm getting into rapid fire here, so tell me a little bit. When Banana Jack Murphy's riding down the road, are you listening to radio, a podcast, or are you listening to talk radio? Are you listening to yourself?
Nah, I try not to listen to myself.
What sparks you?
I will tell you, I got an algorithm with the YouTube Reels, and they give me these little morsels of people that have just excelled in all sorts of things. I like to hear those. I really find myself doing that. And then my own music, I'm working on a project, and so.
I got you. Good deal. So you do listen to other people?
Oh, absolutely.
I got you.
And I'm trying to find something to steal from them.
I got you. A little fun one here. I kind of got a little insight on this one, but did we land on the moon?
Oh, boy. I did hear something about conspiracies. Did we land on the moon? You know, this has been such a long... I've actually used this as just a bit on the radio so much that if I backtrack on it now, I would give away the element of just having a good story. No, I don't think we did. I'm sure that a lot of people right now are saying, man, come on, Jack, come on. I don't think so.
You know what's interesting about that? I have fun with it. I might differ from you. I think we did land on the moon, but the young generation, they question things a lot more, Jack.
Because their government's lied to them, Autry.
Okay,
Okay.
I got you.
And the crazy old guy that lived down the street that had hermetized himself with the aluminum foil hat,
Yeah,
he had a pretty good track record since 2016, didn't he?
he did.
Yeah.
Did. I got you. Good deal. So tell us what you're into today.
What am I into today?
Yeah, like where you at? What you doing?
Well, I'm still plugged into my church, and that's good. And I like watching my son. I'm doing political talk now.
Where can they find you out there?
Oh yeah, Talk 94.5, Talk 106.7, and 1240 a.m.
What time?
3 to 6,
3 to 6.
Monday through Friday, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, I control 7 hours of programming over there now. So I have the Sideline Sizzle, which I produce with my son, which is a football related show. I have the #1 show with Deacon, and then I have a show called Strange Discoveries, which deals with paranormal stuff from a Christian worldview, though.
I like
I
it.
debunk ghosts are
Where
not
can
real.
they find that at?
That's Saturday nights at 9.
Okay.
And it's strangediscoveries.com. And because I've always been involved in music, I didn't elaborate on it. We would get the family together and sing, which was an
Y'all sing?
No, not my immediate, but my uncle did, and they were
Okay.
always musicians. They were always musicians around. And my grandfather gave me a harmonica at 10, and 15 minutes later, I was playing it like I'd played it my entire life. So music has always been important. I have developed, and I use some AI, and I have written song after song after song. This came from KZQ and all the song parodies, those crazy little songs, like Weird Al does. And somewhere, I told you the story, and we don't have time to get into it today, but songwriting is man, it was a whole gift from God on opening up. And I have developed a virtual concert series.
Wow.
Using some AI elements, and it takes me back to probably what I would say were the most entertaining things. It takes me back to 1970 when I'm listening to that AM transistor radio. I was always a big fan of the Grand Ole Opry, and I was always a fan of Prairie Home Companion on NPR. I know you Republicans don't get mad at me for liking NPR, but not so much now. But at that time, I loved the live music show and the people that come out and sing and perform. So I've recreated that, and we're on 9 stations now in the UK and Alaska, and picking up affiliates all the time.
Yeah. I want to end on this question, if I can, Jack, is do you still have hope in America?
I believe America's best days are in front of her. It's going to get a little bit tricky, but I think that we have only scratched the surface. If you go back and look at things that have happened, man, there are a lot worse things that have happened in America, and we came back stronger than who you didn't like in the White House or some particular. I mean, we can wrap up a worldwide conflict in 3 months, and that's 3 months too long now.
Yeah.
No, America's best days are in front of her, no doubt.
Good deal. And our God's on the throne.
Absolutely.
Amen. Good deal.
He's sitting right here, brother.
Amen, brother. Jack, thank you for joining us
all
today,
you do,
man.
buddy.
I appreciate you. This was a true treat.
Love you, man. Love your whole family.
Love you too, buddy.
Yep.
Folks, this has been a treat. We're certainly going to get Banana Jack Murphy back because we didn't even scratch the surface. But America's best days are ahead. Make sure you're living your American dream today, wherever you're at.